Hey everyone, welcome to the Convos with Anita Santiago podcast. I am your host, Anita Santiago. Please like, share, and review the podcast on all the major podcast platforms, including YouTube. If you'd like to reach out to me directly, you can always email me at convoscws@gmail.com. And don't forget to pop over to the website lifeconvos.com, and that you can keep up with all the greatest and latest news regarding the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, what are we talking about today? The topic for today is friendship. And I'm going to start this topic off by talking about like friendships in the media or TV shows that I know of that really, to me, exemplify what friendship looks like. So, the first one is The Odd Couple. Now, you have to be in my age bracket or older to know that show. It was a very interesting show about two guys that were totally opposite ends of the personality spectrum, but they were roommates. And it was a comedy show, and it was very, very funny. But I think it illustrated how rich and robust friendships can be, even when the people are dramatically different. Another show that I feel is in that vein, two shows actually, Cheers and Friends. And Cheers and Friends were two separate shows, comedies mostly, but they revolved around a group of friends. And the shows took us through different snapshots of their life to see how they interacted as friends and supported each other and were there for each other as the shows went on. And I think in Cheers and Friends, the group of people that were together were very, very different. When you look at the characters, they were really, really different from each other, which kind of enhanced their friendship. Three's Company, another fairly older comedy show from the 70s, which was about three friends, two girls and a guy that were roommates, and they were all very different. And again, I think highlighting how people of different backgrounds and different experiences can form really strong friendships. And then my last show that I think exemplifies friendship would be Golden Girls. And again, these are all shows that I kind of grew up with. So if they don't sound familiar to you, you can look them up and check them out and enjoy. But I think in those TV shows, we really see people bringing things to the table and creating a bond that's supportive, loving, and nurturing. And when I think of friendships and what friendships do in our lives, I would say friendships should be a very nurturing, uplifting, feel good experience. Not that you won't have problems and ups and downs in a friendship, because a friendship is like a relationship. A friendship is a relationship. It's not like a relationship. A friendship is a relationship. And what do we know about relationships? Relationships take a lot of work to help them grow and to build longevity. It takes a lot of work. So friendships as a relationship take work. And I think these TV shows that I just mentioned, if you watch a few episodes, you see how the characters work together to overcome misunderstandings and different hiccups, and their bond grows and they become closer and they really have enjoyable friendships. In this day of digital media, pandemic, lockdown, social isolation, friendships are very important. Social interaction is very important. I feel that we are made for relationship and we are made to be in relationship. And so anytime as a society we are facing pressures that restrict our ability to have that social interaction, it can be very challenging. And we should really always strive to make sure that we have the type of people in our lives that are good for us. You don't necessarily need a lot of friends. I would always say quality over quantity, but friends that align with your values and your lifestyle and what you want to add to your life. When you have friends that are different from you, that have different interests, different vocabulary, different cultural or ethnic background, you now have the benefit of being exposed to things that you may not have been exposed to if you did not have this friendship. So friendships are very vital, they're very important, and this is an area that we should strive to work on in our lives and enrich ourselves with good quality friendships. So when I say quality friendship, what do I mean? I mean a relationship that you have with others that's based on mutual respect, trust, and honesty. There may be other criteria that you have as far as friendships are concerned, but those are the big ones. Friendships can be, groups of people or just a couple of people. I know that I follow some people on Facebook that are part of groups like 5 or 6 couples, and they do things all the time and they post about it, and that's cool. There's a lot of different ways to construct friendships. They don't have to just be 2 people. And as we think about our lives, you look at your life and you say, okay, who are my friends? What friendships do I have? How do you feel about them? How would you describe them? If you made a list of every friendship that you had in your life, how would you describe those friendships? And then the bigger question is, are you sure they're friendships and not acquaintanceships or situationships? That's important for you to know that. Sometimes we have an acquaintance that we think is a friend, but it's not mutual on their side. So making sure that we understand that if I think you're my friend, I want to verify that you think you're my friend too. And that avoids a lot of awkward, weird situations. When it comes to building foundations of friendships, there are some things that have to be in place for that friendship to really, really work. The friends in the circle or the group have to really appreciate the differences in the friendship. When you have friends that are different from you, maybe they do different jobs, they're in a different industry, they have different hobbies, different interests. Maybe you're more outgoing, they're more reserved, whatever the case may be. In a solid friendship, the individuals appreciate the differences and the differences don't become problematic. I'm not trying to change you into what I think you should be. You're not trying to change me into what you think I should be. But we truly understand that we're different and we do things differently. Now, that doesn't mean as a friend, not that you shouldn't challenge your friends to do better and grow. We should definitely do that. But we should also appreciate that those differences that our friends bring to the table help us grow and help us expand our horizon. So it's really important that the people in the friendship appreciate the differences and understand how those differences make the friendship work and grow. Another really important part of friendship is trust. That goes without saying, but in this day and age, trust is trust is very important. And if we don't have trust among the friends, it's hard to do things together as friends. What do I mean? I have to be able to trust that you accept me for who I am. I have to be able to trust that you don't have malicious motives, that you really enjoy my company, or that you want to participate in activities with me, and vice versa. When we don't have that level of trust, of fundamental trust, it makes maintaining a friendship very difficult. And we're not even talking about trusting like with secrets and different things like that. I'm just talking about on a basic level. Can I trust you? If we go out of town, can I trust that you're going to take care of everything that you need to take care of? So when we go out of town, we're having a great time and that you've done everything that you need to do. Can I trust that? Can I trust that if you tell me you're going to be somewhere at 8:45 that you're going to be there, or at least you'll call and say what happened that you couldn't be there? So again, understanding the differences that we bring to the friendship, having a base, fundamental trust in each other. And then the third part, or the third thing that I think is really important in the foundation of friendship, is cherishing your friends, being grateful that you have the pleasure or the benefit of having this person as a friend in your life. I think when we approach things from the standpoint of cherishing it, we treat it different. We treat it as special, as something we don't want to lose or damage. So we're going to do those things that are going to be very helpful and not hurtful. So when you cherish your friends, and I'm not saying put your friends on a pedestal and all of that, but cherish them. If they just had a win, celebrate, pump them up, be the hype man or the hype woman for them. If their kids have accomplished something, celebrating that, making a big deal out of it, letting your friends know that, hey, this matters to you and it matters to me. I think cherishing other people might be that piece of the friendship foundation that we miss a lot. I think we know about the trust and we know about the differences, but do we cherish our friends? Now, I know if there are guys listening, that's like a word that a guy would not use as far as friendship is concerned, unless maybe he's friends with someone like a mom, where he would say, I cherish my mom and she's my friend too. Okay, moms, don't come at me with, I ain't they friend. But I know that's language that men typically wouldn't use to describe a friendship or the foundation of a friendship. But I think it's the principle more than the word that we should pay attention to. The principle of showing the other person that you're unequivocally there for them, and that you're happy and you're celebrating and you're moved by the things that move them. You're happy that they're happy. They got a promotion, you're celebrating, or they're moving to a new city and you're celebrating. Again, it's more of the principle of how you cherish other individuals than the actual word. So I don't want that to be a stuck point, for the guys especially. But the foundation of the friendship is very important. If you think about a house, what's the first thing you build? Is the foundation. Because if the foundation isn't strong and it can't withstand a lot of things, then you're not going to have a house that stands very long, or you're going to have a house with a lot of problems. Building a friendship is the first part of friendship. It's making sure that you're laying a foundation over time so this friendship can be very, very solid. Building in the pieces of that friendship that are important to you: the trust, the transparency, the communication, the nurturing, cherishing, the mutual respect. All of that comes into play as you build that foundation. And once you have the foundation and you're building the other parts of the friendship, this is how the friendship can grow and evolve over time. For people who have friends in their lives that they've been friends 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, those are relationships that both individuals have put a lot into. And because they've invested in growing the friendship, it was able to change and evolve as the people changed and evolved. And in that sense, the friendship wasn't lost. So that's something to also consider, especially in a digital age where we communicate by texting or online. You know, do you have opportunities to meet up with your friends, do video calls, do things to create deeper connection and deeper investment into the friendship? Do you have those opportunities? And if you don't, maybe it's time to create some, because again, you have this foundation of friendship that you build. And then as the friendship grows, the other pieces come into play. And before you know it, you have this beautiful friendship that you've invested in, that you've built from the ground up. And it's a total blessing in your life. I think that when it comes to friendships, being our unapologetic self, being authentic when we enter into friendships is very important too. Sometimes we want to impress others, and sometimes we're just not as transparent as we probably should be. But again, if you want quality people in your life and quality relationships in your life and quality friendships in your life, then you have to start with yourself, and you have to be those things that you want to be. So I've heard it said, if you want good friends, you have to be a good friend. What does that mean? If you're never available, you can never listen, you can never be there for support, you never have a thought or an idea or a conversation, then how can you attract the kind of friendship that you probably want in your life? You want someone that's going to be exciting and engaging and well versed in a lot of different areas. Are you those things that you are expecting from other people? That's the main question. Are you those things? So if you want that, to someone who's well versed and good communicator, and we can do lots of fun things. Do you like doing fun things? Or do you frown a lot? Do you really enjoy others, being around others, or not so much? And those things, those are important questions, because I think when you look at your life and you wonder about friendships that don't work out, or why certain types of people are attracted to you, or why you keep seeing these same scenarios over and over repetitively in your life, I think you have to go back to that question. If I want good friends, if I want the type of friends that are going to be there for me, am I willing to be that first with myself? Because again, if you haven't been that with yourself, then how are you going to be that for other people? It's hard to be trustworthy with other people when you're not trustworthy with yourself. It's hard to be authentic with other people when you're not authentic with yourself. And again, in the scope of friendships, we want the highest quality, best friendships that we can have in our lives. And we want to encourage that. We want to nurture that. And the friendships that we have, we want to grow that. Now, I will tell you that I am a big proponent of categorizing people in my life. That might sound kind of weird, but it's me. That's what I do. And I think that you have to understand the differences between friendships, colleagues, associates, acquaintances. Everyone doesn't get into the inner space to be a friend. That takes work, that takes time. And it's really important that if we meet someone that we think this would be a good friend, but they're not interested in investing into the friendship, then that might be an acquaintance or somebody I network with. And it's not a ding against them, but ask yourself, why would you take on wanting to be friends if maybe the other person doesn't feel the same way. And a lot of times people let us know. It's just that sometimes we get so excited, or we get so hung up on the fact that we need to make this friendship happen. We miss the signals that maybe the other person doesn't feel the same way. And that's something that we have to pay attention to. At the same time, someone that we may not think would make a good friend may turn out being a very, very good friend. I've had many of those experiences. I've had experiences where people have said to me, "Oh my gosh, I never thought you would be my friend because you're so different from me." And yet here we are, we're friends. So different doesn't preclude friendship, but you do have to pay attention to whether the other person wants to be in that friendship with you. To save a lot of frustration and heartache that way. As we grow older, I believe it's harder to make friends, and I'm specifically talking to the grown and sexy folks. I'm not going to throw no numbers out there because I don't want y'all to get mad. But for the grown and sexy folks, you're at a different stage in your life. You've been through a few things. You've been through some situations where people weren't trustworthy, and you're just not like, I'm just not going to jump out there like that. Understand. That is very understandable. And I think as we age and get older, our patience is lower. Our tolerance for silliness shrinks. And there's a preference for a lot of people that I'd rather be by myself than to deal with a whole bunch of drama and foolishness and some of the things that come along with dealing with people and their different personalities. But I would argue that as you age, as you get older, you have to be even more intentional to replace friendships that are lost, to make sure you have a robust social circle that keeps you engaged, keeps you doing things, keeps you interested in things. Because if you don't become intentional about building friendships and replacing friendships, you will look up and a lot of your friends are no longer there. Maybe they've moved to another part of the country. Maybe they've passed away. Maybe for whatever reason you just grew apart. But tending to your social support and making sure that you have good, nurturing friendships in your life is extremely important as you go through the aging process. So, one of my favorite songs, What About Your Friends by TLC. I love that song. I think that song, the lyrics of that song really express the questions that we have around friendships. Are your friends going to be around? Are they going to stand for you? Are they going to be people that you can count on? Just like we go through our lives with our relationships, romantic relationships, and we say, hey, is this relationship good for me? We need to do the same thing with our friendships. Okay, I've been friends with Susie for 20 plus years. We don't talk, we don't call, but maybe I should pick up the phone and see where we stand as friends and rekindle the interaction. It's very hard to have a friendship when you don't communicate. And again, in this digital age, if you have friends that are not online, they don't do Facebook, IG, TikTok, or any of the other apps. And now, you have more of a digital presence and they don't. Maybe you don't communicate as often because you don't stay on the phone as much. You don't talk on the phone because maybe you communicate more digitally. My whole point is that without communication, you cannot have a friendship. So if you have friends that, are in your life, but you don't communicate, often you have to ask some questions about that friendship. And there are friendships where people don't have to talk every day. You don't have to be together every day. I'm just saying, understand where that friendship sits in your life, what the purpose is, and whether or not you need to do more work to make it better. I think no matter how good the friendship is, there's always a better. So I encourage you in all of your friendships to strive for better, to make it better, to have those open, important conversations about the friendship and where you both see it going, what it means to you, where it fits in your life. And be very intentional on making sure that you have adequate social support in your life. So here's your challenge. Go out and listen to TLC's song, What About Your Friends? And then marinate about your friendships and see if there's anything that you need to do differently. I will tell you, I have some of the most amazing friends in the world, and I know everybody says that about their friends, but my friends are really, really amazing. They're diverse, they're dynamic, they're doing big things. They push me to be better. They iron sharpens iron, so I'm a better person for being around them, and I'm really, really grateful for that. I'm really, really grateful for that. And I want everyone to have that type of experience where you have friends in your life that really care about you. You know you're cared about. It enriches your life. And you have a lot of fun. Life is for living, and it should be a good thing. So that's your challenge, is to listen to the song, think about your friendships, work on your friendships, and be intentional. I want to thank you all so much for stopping by the Convos with Anita Santiago podcast. And again, if you could like, share, subscribe, and review, I would appreciate it so, so very much. My email is convoscws@gmail.com if you ever want to get in touch with me. And wishing you happy friendships. Happy listening.